And we're on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Guys, what is communication?
It's communication, people.
Understand and be understood.
Concise.
For me, it's the both. Is a change because you need to understand and be understood.
Hi, YouTube.
Okay.
Guys, what is communication?
It's communication.
I hear an echo of my own voice.
Is
Understand
for
and be
me
understood.
is to share
For me, it's the
to
both.
share words, to share their own ideas in the clear way for other person. And like Michelle said, to be understood and understand. It's basic comprehension.
Sometimes, I think sometimes communication also it's about moving people, uh, moving people through, for example, sharing information, information about profession, job, or information about ourselves. For example, in relationships, it's fundamental communicate what we how we feel about a situation, what we expect about a situation. And when we do that, we move the other to a better situation, to a more clear situation about or level about what do about our the relationship, about the profession, about the job. I think that's about moving people too.
All right. Well, we actually have an answer. It's not a rhetorical question. Can you show us the equation, Andrea? There's a strategic communication specialist from University of Maryland in the United States named Keisha Brewer. I'm a big fan of her. She's the CEO of PR Alliance. She has made or built relationships between some really big Fortune 500 companies and built relationships between educational partners and big companies as well. So she has come up with this kind of simple formula about what is successful communication. She says, communicate with purpose while showing value in order to achieve a goal.
It works for everything, Cliff. Yeah. Purpose, value, and goal.
So our purpose, our purpose is what drives us. Like, why are you doing what you do? Value actually has a kind of a double meaning here, because value can be our principles, kind of our ethical or moral principles, but value also is the value in the service that we provide. So what is our partnership worth to the person or to the organization? And finally, our goals should overlap with the goals of our partners. Where do you want to go? What are your objectives? What are you trying to achieve? So we're going to do a little brainstorming exercise here. We'd like everybody, for each of these slides, can you back up one more? No, back up. Go back to the equation.
Sorry.
So we're going to put the slides up with 4 key words. And I'd like each of you to think for 90 seconds and write down everything that comes to mind about these 4 expressions. Okay, so grab your pen and your notebook, and we're going to put up each word for 90 seconds, and you write down everything that comes into your head, and we'll share when we finish the 4 terms. All right, everybody ready?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, go. Purpose. Begin to write, please. So what is your purpose? What makes your heart beat fast or your eyes brighter? What would you do for free? If you can answer these questions, you know your purpose. You use it when you're telling a story or preparing a presentation about yourself. Put 90 seconds on the clock. Come on. Go back to purpose. Okay, finishing up. All right, principles. What are your principles? What is right or wrong for you? Each one of us has things that we are not willing to sacrifice or things that we are not willing to bend. So what are your principles? 90 seconds. Okay. Ready? Next. Value. And here I'm using that second meaning. Value is value added. Okay. What value does your contribution add to your collaborations and partnerships? All right. 90 seconds. Oops.
Cliff, repeat,
Yeah.
please. Repeat, please, about value added.
What value does your contribution add to your collaborations and partnerships? What are you bringing to this relationship? Okay?
Okay.
And let's finally talk about goals. All of us are on our own journey. What's your destination? What are the milestones on your journey? How do your goals fit your purpose, principle, and values? Okay, 90 seconds. All right.
Now, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scroll to the wrong place. So when our purpose meets our values, it's easier to achieve our goals. We got to think of these things. What's our purpose? What's our principles? What value do we bring to a partnership? And what are we really trying to achieve? So let's take a couple minutes, and really just a couple minutes this time, to share a little bit about how you feel about these issues, if you've ever thought about them, or if it's new to you. Okay. Everyone's so quiet. No sharing. Did we shock you? Would love, so are we at that part of therapy where you leave the therapist's office crying a little bit? There are days in therapy that are like that.
Share your notes, people.
You gotta have notes. We
Yeah.
should have some notes.
Can we start?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So I will start.
Rafael is my hero.
Let's go. My purpose is challenges to know the unknown, discover new things. It's about these three things. My principles is ethics, be polite, respect the difference, and confidence. My value added. Well, I work as a supervisor, and my value is to hear every opinion before to make a big decision that is going to be impact my team. I think this is basic. And my goals is speak English very well and know another countries and cultures. I think that is it.
Cliff and Andrea, I have a big doubt because these questions were about our professional lives or about our entire lives. So, for example, our purpose in our jobs, profession, yes.
Or in your personal life, and
questions.
And Liliane, how do those things overlap?
Yes, yes, yes.
Because your purpose in your
Everything is
professional
linked.
life, your purpose in your professional life and your purpose in your personal life, they're
Yes,
they're minimally compartmentalized, but
I'm not inspired this morning, and it was very hard to me thinking and writing about in few seconds. So, but it's a very good exercise. Very good.
I mixed everything because there is only one Rafael.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, but I put this question because if you talk about our profession or job, it's more limited. So it's easier to think about in few seconds and then thinking about everything.
yeah, I mean, if we think, for example, think of a place where it overlaps. I want to be a better professional. I think all of us probably in our goals has that, right? Like we want to be better at what we do. And I think probably in all of our personal lives, we want to be better at what, I want to be a better father. I want to be a better partner to Andrea, and I want to just be a better person, nicer, right?
Yes, yes.
So I think that, like, how does that overlap? Well, Andrea knows who said this, but it's that kind of thing. You have to, for this particular goal, it's a little abstract, but you have to think, I can't turn into Jesus Christ, right? So what can I do is be a little bit better, I can be a little bit better than I was yesterday, but I feel that for me, that's one of those things that I would say it's where principle and goal overlap. I want to be a little bit better. I always want to be better, right? And that affects both my personal and my professional life. I think, like you said, Liliane, in professional life, sometimes it's a little bit easier because you can establish a SMART goal and be like, measure your results. Yes. And when you go, I want to be a better father, you can't establish a SMART goal where you're like, am I being a better father? It's a little bit more complicated. But I think in a lot of cases, those things overlap.
Okay. So can I share my thoughts, my notes?
Please.
As for example, about my job, as I say on LinkedIn, my mission, for example, creating, sharing value through capital projects. But if we I can resume creating, sharing value on life with people that I love, with people that I can impact in some way. And about goals, for example, to be proud of my legacy, about my impact on people, to be proud about my journey. So, but I think too that's not about, for example, to be proud of about my journey is not a goal in the future, but it's a thing that I must live every day. It's not there in the future. It's now about the present, and about principles, empathy, because I think that if I put myself in the place of others and exercise this feeling, it's more clear. I can feel, I can see more clearly my limits about the others, and how I can improve relationships, how I can improve day by day routines, about micro and big things. Uh, I need, and also about another principle: keep priorities first. So before I need to understand how which what are my priorities, my team's priorities, area, company, so, and keep first. It's essential. I think, for example, my daughter, my family routine, my life with my friends. This keeps me alive. So if I don't spend time with my priorities of my entire life, it's hard. And I last thing thought about. I understand my life, how I'm every day sculpting myself, sculpting. So reflecting about myself as a mother, as a friend, as a professional, as a leader, as in my family, in the society. I really love reflect and act about to improve myself. So this image about sculpting myself is help me a lot every day to improve, to go ahead. So very philosophical
Very good.
things.
It's a philosophical question.
Yes, yes. It's about, in the end, it's about the sense of our lives, the purpose, the principles. So,
Odd, you want to share?
Yeah, I don't know if I have vocabulary. Maybe I will send in Portuguese for Michelle, and then Michelle can explain in English for us. Well, I thought a little bit, and in my company, we put inside the brain, the people there, opportunity to explaining and communication. There we use the 4 words: honesty, truth, transparency, and respect. Okay, if you enter in LinkedIn by FCC, maybe we can see there this information. When I talk about communication, I think that is a philosophical question too. And then for me, it's important to understand sorry, I will take the chip. Another person. Yeah, Daniel told me about this. Older people, another person. another person, because I need to understand the information, because it's common, human being very anxious. And then, for example, when the Liliane told about your her her sharing, I would like to speak. I can't stay, or I can't stop my brain and only listen this Liliane speak. And then it's common, very I think that the people is difficult today because we suffer about the anxious. Oh, okay. And then when it's very common. And then my company thought about this, and inside in our brain, the honest, true transparency and respect for communication. And then when the people explain, they propose maybe, and they understand clear, principle, understand clear, value, respect, true, empathy, and the maybe the goal, communication, clear, truth, and respect, and honesty, and transparency. Because when Cliff told about Jesus Christ, if the person talk me about the Jesus Christ, we study a little bit about this. For me, this is a example, and then all the attitude that I try, I think, or I thought, Jesus Christ, maybe, or do this or not. For me, it's all the time this. If I take the dog, for example, and put on the street, I thought this Jesus Christ, and do this or not. And then when you talk about the communication, I think all the time Jesus Christ told about the listen, 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 and after this, answer the question. Yeah. And then I think that's I agree with Rafael again, and Liliane too, and my company: honesty, true transparency, and respect. Did you understand me? Maybe
Yeah,
I
good.
send in Portuguese for
No, it's good.
Michele.
It's good. No cheating today. No cheating today. Michele, Mateus, want to share?
Yes. I think OD is a dilemma. Do or not to do. Yeah. The things and the options. Okay, for me, I mixed the both professional and the life, and for purpose for me is be happy with my family in this moment. When you have a daughter and you know your life is your family, achieve my goals through my job, because you know you want to do anything, but you need to do with money. It's not possible in this moment to do the things without money. And I believe I receive, or I earn my money through my job. Not only a job, but a good job, a correct job. My principle, I think it's the first one, is be honest It's not the honesty in the Portuguese word, but be honest, like pass the true message, or be true, do the right thing. It's not easy. It's not say no, and it's not easy do different when the world expect the yes, and the people want yes every moment. The value add for me is training my daughter to do the right thing, to understand the act and the word, because if you do something, you have an answer, and you need to do the correct thing to have the correct answer, not for the person but for the life. Understand if it's possible, we can do. If it's possible, you can do. How I need to do? What is the things what I need to do, or the resources to do the things? And when I think in what is possible, what we can do, I need to understand the relationship and what is possible to do and what I need to do. Because sometimes I think the training people is like training my daughter, because if she wants to do anything, I need to put not barriers or not problems, but what she need to do, because she can do all. She can do all. If I blocked my daughter with, you can't do that. Why I can do that? No, you can do that. What you need to do that. And about my goal, I wanted to be prepared for the next step. For the next step for my life, my real life, and the next step for my professional challenge. And for these things, I need to do the best with the resources what I have. If I have the resources to study more English because English is my gap or is my problem, I need to do this more. I need to put the resources to do. I need the time to study. I need to use my time to study. I need to use it for this moment, like today. I have opportunity to do a class during the Saturday for a cheap, because it's cheap when you compare the price for do that and within a good school like Seminal. I need to do. I have the time, I have the opportunity, I have the moment. I can do that. And I think for all of your life, you can do the best with the resources what you have. Because sometimes I know I put the barrier. I can't do that. Why you can do that? Because I work a lot. Because you're not working all the time. And I wanted to do more. If I have time at night to go to run, I go to run at night. If I haven't, I go too early. You can do that. You can do all what you want, but you need to put priorities in your life. For example, today is Saturday, but I learn if I want to improve my English, I need to stop it to do anything about this. And this class is to improve my English. Okay, I speak a lot, sorry.
Good.
Mateus, did Mateus say?
No. For purpose, I want to grow and improve my skills, develop new skills, and be part of transformations. In principles, I have as principles the culture and respect and understand others' context. For me, is very important, and evaluate the situations and evaluate point of views different of mine. As evaluate a deed, be the people be respected and have voice and be part of the change and be able to grow. And my goals is be a reference and help others to grow in their career or the personal life, and share knowledge and impact positively. I don't know how to pronounce this word, but impact in a positive way in others' life.
Positively.
Thank you.
Very, very good. Excellent, guys.
Okay. Well, people, then here I have something to talk to you about one issue I love, that is the power of why. Here we have some questions that Simon Sinek did to himself some years ago before he launched his book, The Power of Why. It's not, I forgot the name of the book. Is it The Power of Why? Yeah, is that? Okay.
No, it's Start with Why.
I start with why.
We're going to show the cover and we're going to show the cover.
Yes, it's because Cliff put here another title and made me confused. I read this book and I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek. So here we have a question. Why are some people and organizations more innovative, more influential, and more profitable than others? Why do some command greater loyalty? So people, in his book, Simon Sinek talks about Microsoft and Apple. He compares a lot of companies. Have you read your book, Michelle? Because you received it. Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's a very good book and it improves our English a lot. And then he asks us about it because he has a lot of examples of companies who grew a lot because they had this power, the power of why. And then he also asks about leadership because this book is a leadership book. And then he asks, why do some people command great loyalty? Why are people better leaders than other ones? Then here he talks about the golden circle. I have one student that he is a big fan of the golden circle without reading the book, okay? But when Simon Sinek wrote his book, he talked that the companies that grew a lot is the company that starts with why. Because most of businesses start with what? So what do? I teach English, I sell clothes, but they don't think why. Why do I teach English? Why do we work with English? That's why we changed it, because when we started with English classes for everybody. We had students that were children from 5 years on. We had children, teenagers, and also professionals. And then we started thinking, but this is what we are doing, teaching English. Why? But why we teach English? And then when we started thinking about why, we needed to change how we work and what we do. When we started thinking about why, we said, okay, now how we are going to achieve this goal? How can we achieve our why? So then my why was, when I started the company, my why was helping people who had challenges in their work and their profession, not teaching children. I was not supposed to teach children at that moment. So then we changed how we worked. And then we started studying coaching. We started doing a lot of courses. We started doing a lot of changes on ourselves. Then we achieved our what. Then now we are not more an English school like a lot of English schools that are in the world. I say we are not an English school. I don't think the other English schools are our competitor, because we are different, because we started with why. And then our what is to help people, is to make people's lives better. So we have here students that say, oh, you unblocked not only my English, but my life. Now I can speak better in Portuguese. I learned a lot with you. I can show people my qualities. It's very nice to listen to people when they say that. I have a girl, she's from Bahia, and she had a terrible experience in an English school because her teacher told her, you are never going to learn English. And she is a controller, a financial controller. And for her to grow in her career, she needs to learn English. And when she arrived here, she was afraid of speaking English. And this week she told me, I'm not afraid of speaking anymore. So now I know that I can really learn English. So this is something that makes my eyes bright, and Cliff's eyes bright too, because we work together. We walk together to the same objective. That's why we see Seminal's why. Would you like to complete something, Cliff?
I just want to steal two of Simon Sinek's examples from the book.
Okay.
Simon Sinek gives a great contrast, and now I can't remember the guy's name from the Defense Department, but there was a time when the knowledge that humans could fly, like physicists were sure that humans would be able to fly. And there was a great German physicist from the 1800s that published a book on human flight. And at the same time as you had Santos Dumont, the Wright brothers, and the French guy whose name I can't remember, but they were all working on this idea of flight at the same time as a guy that was working for the United States Defense Department. And I think you guys probably know the story. The Wright brothers and Santos Dumont and that French engineer knew each other, and they cooperated, right? This works, this doesn't work. I tried this, I need help, right? So you had these three groups of guys around the world that were focused on this goal together, right? And then at the same time, you had this highly funded guy from the United States Defense Department. The guy was overfunded, in fact, for the project he was working on. Now, I've forgotten his name, but so has everyone else. No one remembers him. And the bad thing is, I can't remember the French fellow's name either, unfortunately, but you had three teams that were successful, right? The Wright brothers were successful. Santos Dumont was successful, and the French engineer was successful. And that guy from the Defense Department, when he lost the race, he quit. He wasn't the first or second or third, He lost the race to become the first guys to do human flight. And he quit. He stopped even trying, So clearly we can argue about, whether the Wright brothers or Santos Dumont were first. I know that that's a little nationalist pride thing between the United States and Brazil, but that's not the important part of the story, because those guys knew each other. They were cooperating, right?
Yeah.
And another example is when Steve Jobs came back to Apple. Because remember, Steve Jobs was removed from Apple by the shareholders. His own shareholders took him out of his own company, right? Mm-hmm. And then after a couple years, Steve Jobs had built, he had built a education company. They had founded Pixar, right?
Mhm.
And then Apple said, hey, Steve, you want to come back and maybe run your own company? And Steve Jobs came back to Apple. And one of the things that I think is remarkable is, and imagine the hubris here. Imagine the not hubris, the humility. You know who Steve Jobs went to for money at the beginning? Bill Gates.
Ah, yes, that's
Steve
true.
Jobs borrowed $100 million from Bill Gates, right? Imagine that. Those guys, they were rivals because Gates had stolen the idea of the graphic user interface from Jobs, you know? They knew each other from the past. They were really serious rivals. And Steve Jobs is like, I gotta get funding to get the company out of the hole. We got to start researching what the next step is going to be. And he had the humility to go talk to somebody who he had an enmity with for kind of decades, right? And now if we look at Apple, people are tattooing the Apple symbol on their body.
Yeah.
Nobody has a Microsoft Windows symbol tattooed on their body. You know, you get some Linux people. They're a little crazy, right? You get some Linux tattoos.
And then there is another thing that he talks about in his book. It's about the competition between Apple and Microsoft. And when Apple was launched, the iPhone was launched, Microsoft did the burial of the iPhone. There is a ritual. If you look for it on YouTube, they have the burial of iPhone. And this is very funny because they did, this is a joke now. It's a market joke. I don't know if Odd knows about it because he's from informatics. Maybe it's a joke in his market, but it's a joke. Imagine they buried.
And Apple left the cell phone market. Microsoft left the cell phone market. Microsoft left the cell phone operating system market. Right?
Yeah.
Another example is Toshiba MP3 players. Arguably, Toshiba MP3 players were superior to the iPod, but Toshiba is no longer in the MP3 player market. You know, they gave up. You know, and even though Toshiba had this technically better product, it didn't sell. And Simon Sinek says it's because Toshiba's like, oh, we have this great new technology. It can hold more songs and it has better sound quality and the monitor is color, you know, the display is color. And Steve Jobs is like, nah, we're going to show silhouettes of people dancing with their iPods, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing that we bought was the iPod. You know, we identified with the dancing people. We didn't identify with the faster or better piece of equipment.
But that's why Simon Sinek says that everything we do, we need to start with why. Because companies and people that start with why, they really succeed in life, in business, in everything. Okay. And then this is the book. I have read it. I'm sure I'm going to read it again because it's fantastic. And of course, as you are studying English, people, you start reading things from the real author because the translations are not, sometimes they don't transmit exactly what the author wants to transmit. And it's very emotional, this book. And there is a part he shares with us a very interesting personal situation. He says, and then I identified with him a lot because of this. He said that there was once he was very stressed because his company was not viable and he thought about turning back to work to other people, to work for another company. And he said, I'm not going to do this. It is like a suicide for me. And then I thought, oh, I identify with him, because for me, I'm not saying it is true, or if it's not a true story for everybody. I love running my business, my own business. And then for me, it could be a suicide if I think about, oh, I want to go back to the traditional market. Not because, oh, I had terrible experiences. No, I had one terrible experience. The other ones were fantastic, but it's not for me anymore. I don't want this anymore. So my why, Seminal is my why of working. Okay. Cliff, would you like to?
I'm not going to follow that. That was not going to follow that wonderful speech. All right, I'll go into some technical stuff. Go
Yes,
back to our
now
next.
it's technical.
Yeah.
But does anybody read this book? I believe they Odd asked me, but I believe there is the audio book, because I like reading. There are a lot of people who tell me about, oh, you should listen to books, it is faster, but I like reading. And in the past, until last year, I only read physical books. Now I'm reading Kindle, but in the past, I wanted to read only paper. And these days, I'm reading 2 books. I'm reading Mindset from Carol Dweck, and I'm reading the other one. Which one I'm reading, Cliff? I love Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice books. But I'm sure they have, there is an audio book for Start With Why. In Portuguese, I know there is.
If you Google Simon Sinek TED, I think his first TED Talk is a summary of the book. So you can watch a very short version of the book with some of the same stories I've told now, but with his words, a great public speaker. And recently, Simon Sinek had a talk at a leadership conference that's called "Most Leaders Don't Know the Game They're In." It's a longer talk. It's about 35 minutes, but it's an incredible view into the perspective of leadership. So if you want to kind of start with Simon Sinek, start with his TED Talk, and then check out Most Leaders Don't Know the Game They're In.
Cliff,
35 minutes.
This conversation is on TED Talk or YouTube? Yes.
Yeah, his TED Talk is at least on the YouTube TED channel, but I'm not sure if it's actually on the official TED channel anymore, because some of the old talks aren't on the official TED channel. They're on the TED YouTube channel. But if I go, let's see, TED, Simon Sinek, I'm sure the first thing that's gonna pop up is his.
Cliff, I got the link from TED Talk and I put in the group. Simon Sinek has.
Yeah, it's called "How Great Leaders Inspire Action." Sorry,
yes.
the name of the talk.
Okay, there are 2. I'm going to send both of them. 17 minutes.
Yeah. And then the other one is from a leadership conference.
Yeah.
I'll put the link in the group too. Hold on.
I put both.
Did you put Most Leaders Don't Even Know the Game They're In? Because that one's 35 minutes.
No, this other one I didn't.
Yeah,
I have never watched this.
I'm gonna get it. It's oops. I didn't mean to share the audio. This is a great talk too. I'm gonna put it in the WhatsApp group. I'll put the link in the WhatsApp group. it's neat because he's talking about he talks a little bit about the generational problem between millennials and then people of my age, like why we have so much trouble working together. But he talks about a lot more than just that. But he actually does have a technical answer for why millennials can't communicate as well as people like me. And it's kind of neat to see the answer. And then if you're an older person like me and like to complain about millennials, you just stop because you see from his perspective, like, you know, we can't just say, oh, millennials are bad workers. That's just not true. That's what they don't work like people like my father worked, but that doesn't make them bad workers, right? They have a different culture than I do, right? Guys, I think that this is actually a good place for lunch break, to tell you the truth, because I don't want to start the communication ranges section before lunch. We're going to take 90 minutes.